what's going on, guys? My name is Zed and welcome to this video. This is last week I watched number 12 and again, a pretty good week of movies. Definitely had some fun this week, starting off with Killing Them Softly. This is a Brad Pitt movie and it was a recommendation by my buddy Duke, who said this is one of the most underrated movies and definitely an underrated Brad Pitt performance. And though I didn't fall in love with it, I definitely agree it is kind of a sleeper hit. It was very well done and definitely compelling. I think my favorite part was the last 15 minutes, basically when Brad Pitt and the other younger man was going to hit the laundromat owner, and then from there on, the last 15 minutes, those were peak. But there's a lot of things that I felt like was a bit unnecessary and was kind of filler for what could have been a better plot. But this is based off of a book, I have been told, which obviously when you're adapting a book, there's a lot of gray area that you have to kind of go through and figure out what you want to put in, what you don't want to, what serves your story the best while you're trying to make a movie. But overall, Killing Them Softly, pretty good time. Give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. And then next up, I watched The Money Pit. So Tom Hanks is my all-time favorite actor. I love Tom Hanks. He is just so charismatic, so charming. He's just everything. And I have watched this movie once before, and this was years and years ago. And I thought it was okay. I thought it was, decent. But this time around, I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was a nice comedy. And I think the best thing about this movie was its use of sets and its use of practical effects. Not really, but like the staircase collapsing and the rain pouring through the ceiling and the wire in the kitchen, frying, a pattern in the wall. Like, there were so many things in this movie I thought were really well done. A lot of the slapstick, I guess you would call it slapstick, was done very, very well. And Tom Hanks is always just so likable. And I know she's from Cheers, but what was her name? Shelley Long. I know her from Cheers, that's about it. She was also great. It was overall a good time. 3.5 out of 5 stars. And then I moved on to Onward. So back in March 17th, on St. Patrick's Day, it was my buddy's birthday, and we get together every year and we watch a movie. We go to the theater, or we go do something. And he wanted to go see Onward. We're both very big Pixar fans. We're both very big Disney fans. And unfortunately, right before his birthday, government enforced lockdown on our state. So we've been kind of waiting to watch it together, and finally it was like, this is becoming silly. Like, we're just gonna watch this movie. So Onward, a very good time, very enjoyable. I honestly, from the very first trailers, I didn't know how I felt about it. To me, it didn't capture that Pixar magic and that Pixar look that I was expecting. But it's definitely an emotional roller coaster. It definitely, being someone who lost their father, this whole story is about two brothers trying to get one last day with their father. And that really resonated with me. And the last 15 or so minutes are very powerful, very Pixar, really tugging at your heartstrings, and definitely a much better time than I was originally expecting, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then I watched Uncle Buck. So there was this video, a series of videos, but on this channel, but there's this one particular video where It's on the screen right now, the thumbnail. But a guy was breaking down the career of John Candy, and Uncle Buck was, a very prevalent movie on that list, or not on that list, but in that not breakdown. He was just kind of discussing why John Candy was just the best. And I watched Uncle Buck last year for the first time, and I've honestly been craving to watch it again. So it was a perfect opportunity to pop it in and watch some more John Candy. I love this movie. There is nobody more charming, more charismatic, more lovable than John Candy. He's not like the characters he plays aren't inherently like this big cuddly bear, but you can't help but just fall in love with him. And all three of the child actors were phenomenal. And it was a great time. And they turned it into a TV show, like right after this, like in the early 90s, they tried to turn Uncle Buck into a TV show. And then recently, about a year or two ago, they tried to do it again with Michael Epps, another TV show. Just nothing can beat the original John Candy. He is your Uncle Buck. And then this is already a video on the channel. I watched Requiem for a Dream for the first time. And this is a series I think I'm going to start doing. I have a few ideas of movies that I want to include in this series. But basically, I'm going to be watching popular movies that I've never seen and kind of giving my initial reactions right as the credits roll. And Requiem for a Dream was a good time. It was definitely a thought-provoking time. Jared Leto, the more and more I think about it, his performance in this is incredible. And so is Ellen Burstyn. Her performance probably overall was the most evolved performance. It was, the other three, Jared Leto, Jennifer Connelly, and Marlon Wayans all started as drug addicts, but you really saw the mother, Sarah, I believe her name was, really descend, and that was very good. It was a very good character arc. And I also like how this movie ends, not ambiguous, but it doesn't end at a happy place. It doesn't end at a satisfying place. It just ends. And it's kind of up to you to, ponder to yourself, does Jared Leto die? Does Marlon Wayans' character end up getting out of rehab? Does Jennifer Connelly's character start, doing better for herself and getting back on the straight and narrow and, reuniting with her family? And is Sarah, what's her name again? Ellen Burstyn, is she too far gone? So there's a lot of different elements to this movie that made it very enjoyable. Not like enjoyable that you're like, this is fun, but a different kind of movie that I'm not used to watching. Gave that 5 out of 5 stars. And then last, but kind of least, I watched another John Candy movie, The Great Outdoors. And I remember watching this a couple of years ago with my great-grandmother and my great-uncle. And we all enjoyed it. John Candy, obviously Dan Aykroyd, and two of my favorite animals of all time, a grizzly bear and a raccoon. Just love those animals. This movie, I wish was funnier. I really do. I feel like with the comedic talents of Dan Aykroyd and John Candy, who had worked previously together on different television shows and probably movies, I'm not entirely sure what else they've been in together, but it's not that this movie is bad. It's perfectly fine, but I just expected more. I expected more laughs, I suppose. The family dynamic is good. I thought that was the best part of the movie, and I also love a lot of the scenes with the bear. The bear was pretty funny, a very well-trained bear. And there's something I noticed. John Candy, if I remember correctly, he's 6'2", you know, above average height, and he's obviously a hefty man. And when he's being chased by that grizzly bear, he was dwarfed. Like, he was so tiny compared to the grizzly bear, which really shows how massive they are. There are some animals that you don't realize the size of until you can compare them to something that, you know, is tangible. Like, I can imagine John Candy, and the fucking bear was massive, and it was really well trained. A lot of the scenes with the bear are funny, but overall, you know, they tried a lot of things in here. They tried a lot of, you know, love stories and creepy twins and higher class, lower class families. They tried a lot with this movie, and it doesn't all hit, but it's still an enjoyable film. I gave it a rating of 2.5 out of 5 stars. I might give it a 3 now that I think back on it, but honestly, I'm fairly comfortable where I rated it. It's not that it's a bad movie. There's just better ones to watch if you're really going to dive deep into the careers of both actors. Obviously, Uncle Buck for John Candy, and then like Ghostbusters or not Coming to America, Trading Places for Dan Aykroyd. Definitely better choices. But anyways, guys, that is it for this week. Again, I do plan on doing more of the first time watches videos. I feel like those are pretty easy to make, and could garner some views, so that would be helpful for the channel. But thank you again for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and until next time, guys, I'll be seeing you later. Peace.